Well, good old Nvidia stock keeps on making all-time highs and is driving the markets to parabolic heights. And even just the last day alone, we're up another 1.75%. Now, back in 2020, and first of all, congratulations if you're in this stock. Just remember that you can always reinvest your profits. So this is always what happens, and this seems to happen every 4 years. If you're going back to 2017, we had Bitcoin hit 20,000. Remember those days when everything was going parabolic? A lot of back then penny stocks were pretty hot in 2017. 2021, same thing, same market. 2025, 2024, etc. We're kind of in that same 4-year cycle. 2013, Bitcoin hits 1,000, I believe, was the first time. So we're kind of going back into that parabolic cycle. So first of all, congratulations to those of you who are making a lot of money. That's why we invest, right? So, I mean, you can make money one of two ways, either through capital appreciation in the markets, or you can make money from the dividends that are paid to you, or a combination. Some people do dividend growth, which is focusing on dividends that will increase over time, in addition to getting regular payments, and then also kind of switching over to that share price appreciation and factoring in how much of that do you want over the long term. For these types of investors, though, people who are investing in high growth stocks such as Nvidia, this is a company that has grown extremely fast, obviously, due to all the hype surrounding artificial intelligence. It is leading the pack in terms of AI. Not any stock is really keeping up, I don't think, at this point. This is basically the Tesla. If you go back to 2020, 2021, or even, if you look at Microsoft, now, this has been caught up in the AI hype as well. We're up 29% in the last year, up 223% in the last, 5 years. So if we're looking at Nvidia, you can kind of look at a different picture here, right? So over the last year, we are up 200%, and over the last 5 years, we are up 3,379%. Year to date, we are up 173%, so already storming out of the gates here. And you have to keep in mind that we are focused solely on, so we have very small dividend, right? So the idea is, this is like Apple of AI. This is like the brand new Apple. And fair enough, if you're in this for the long term, you should just turn off this video. But my concern is obviously that we've seen this pattern before. Fear and greed in the markets work both ways. And we've seen this example with countless stocks. I'll show you what was going to be the next PayPal, for example. And this is a good example of what happens in the markets. Now, you can absolutely take advantage of these opportunities. That's why I say congratulations to everybody who actually realizes this is an opportunity and that time and chance happened to them all, right? It looks like a blip in the chart now, but when this stock actually went parabolic over the last 5 years, even if we look at a more detailed chart, you'll see this went from $0.00. This is one of the big penny stocks that was trading hundreds of millions of dollars per day. And just as an example, this was going to be the next PayPal back in 2021. And of course, what happened? I'm not saying that's going to happen to Nvidia. Okay, obviously this is a major discrepancy. I'm just using that as an extreme example of the hype that we've seen in the past in the markets. And this can happen with any stock, going from a penny all the way up to $1.93, over 1,000,000% on paper within basically 6 months, only to crash back down to zero. Okay, so we have a highly liquid stock on the NASDAQ, Nvidia, right? So we have a company that is growing very fast with AI, artificial intelligence, is arguably the next Tesla in terms of, that was the hype back then. I'm just going to look up the Tesla chart because I'll show you an example. Tesla has not done much since, and we're going down today for, kind of just going to this sideways pattern. And this happens all the time in the stock market. The first leg up in Tesla, everybody thought this was going to be going on forever. It never ends. Of course, it does come to an end eventually. And don't be surprised if Tesla goes down more. It's just the nature of the game. Markets ebb and flow. Now everybody's focused on AI. Everybody's focused on all this other stuff. So that being said, this is a 4-year cycle that I've noticed in the markets. So we have 2013, 2017, 2021, soon to be 2025. And what will happen is, in my personal opinion, we're going to see the same types of moves, the same types of stocks going parabolic. There's a stock actually that's owned by a lot of institutions. This one does pay a dividend, but we look at $25 all the way up to $87 just over the last 5 years, up 263%. So the market's obviously reaching heights. If you look at Apple's long-term chart, you can see here over the last 5 years up 327%. Apple just keeps climbing the charts. So these companies just keep going up and up in value. The Fed is expected to lower interest rates. And so this is just the hype cycle that we get sucked into. Now, it's the opposite, too, with the bear market. It's very obvious, like in 2022, everybody was bearish on CNBC. Nobody wanted to talk about anything other than stocks crashing and how we were going to go into this horrible recession that we were supposed to have back in 2020. If you ask me, the recession actually happened in 2022 because we had 2 quarters of declining GDP. So it was a silent recession that nobody even said anything about, and now we're stuck in this situation where we're still believing the recession is going to come. Wall Street has been wrong all along, as they typically are, and that's why I really don't like Wall Street. By the way, if you are interested in supporting a mission that's away from Wall Street, join us over at Daily Investment Advice. We are available in 14 languages. We are available across the globe. We want to make sure that we are helping all investors because that is our objective. We want to make sure that the Wall Street system is put to rest for good. It's full of bureaucracy. It's full of nonsense. Our solution is to provide as much value as possible long term. Right now, we are simply a website you can come to and learn about the markets. Financial education is lacking in the country. So we want to take power away from Wall Street and put it in the hands of consumers, put it in the hands of you. You're probably watching this video for free or on an internet connection that doesn't cost very much. So you can come over here. You can support us if you want for $3 a month. There's a donate link. I also have services if you're interested in actually studying for some of these prestigious Wall Street firms and want to work for them. Then you can do that by going over to, so I used to work in the industry, and you can come over here and get some tutoring and stuff like that via PayPal if you are interested. But come over to Daily Investment Advice. This is free, okay? And my goal really is with this content is to provide as much value as possible for all investors to where they don't have to look at, an expensive education or BS concepts that now anybody can learn because of the internet, right? So my goal is to compile all that information and put it here for you. And hopefully kids coming out of high school and college will find this website eventually and realize that it'll be a great resource long-term for them and all investors. So I just wanted to plug my own website there. With that being said, let's go ahead and get back to the examples we were talking about, which is basically that the stock market is going parabolic once again. We've seen this story before. We know that Bitcoin is going crazy. We know that this is going to be something that continues on. Typically, like I said, every 4 years now. Could that change? Yes, obviously, we don't know for sure that it's going to follow. What am I typing in? Bitcoin stock. Probably Bitcoin price would be, there we go. So Bitcoin up 457% over the last 5 years. Everybody was bearish on Bitcoin down here. People were saying it's going under 10,000. People were saying it's going under, back to those $5,000 or even zero. People were saying that too. And of course, that did not happen. And now we're approaching all-time highs and actually have achieved all-time highs. And now we'll probably go to $250,000 and the hype cycle will continue. And I think Bitcoin is actually a pretty good buy right now because it's just hitting those all-time highs. I could be wrong, so take it with a grain of salt. Everything in this video could be completely wrong. And maybe Nvidia goes to a $10,000 share price even after the split they just did. But with that being said, this is all my own speculation, kind of based upon, I've listened to Ray Paul as well. He has some good points about the 4-year cycle and how the market basically repeats itself over and over again, especially with this coming 2025 election cycle, which could be pretty intense. So if you're looking at that from the perspective of how do I invest, well, here you go, right? So here's an example of stocks that are already going parabolic. In 2020, it was Tesla leading the charge, right? So we had a lot of these companies that were leading the charge. Then we had all this speculative trash, right? And when I say speculative trash, what I mean is basically companies that were dead in the water doing nothing. Now they're going to be the next PayPal all of a sudden because of all the hype that was in the market. So we've seen this happen before. And when these opportunities happen, you can in fact make life-changing returns. There are opportunities where you have multi-months to cash out with lots of money. And if you position yourself right before these runs happen, then you can make a lot of money. That's why we talk about these concepts on the channel. That's why we're talking about this hype cycle that's already in the beginning stages. As we look at Ethereum, as we look at other prices of assets out there, you can see that even though we were down, let's say over the last 5 days, so we're up 1.83%. Over the last year, though, that's the longer-term chart we want to look at, see where we're trading. We're approaching those all-time highs again. For Ethereum, as you can see, we hit over 5,000, I believe, in 2021. Even though it's not really showing on the chart, I think the actual all-time high was over 5,000. And then we basically are approaching 3,500 right now. Over the max term here, you'll see, like I said, you have these small blips in 2017, once again going parabolic at the end of 2017. Same exact pattern, 2021 lines up with 2025 at the end there, and then we crash back down. So why is it that it seems like this 4-year cycle keeps happening? It's a great question. That's why I try to listen to different people's opinions on this. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. But there's obviously a lot of things happening right now that could be beneficial for the markets and continue to make sure that things are going to be good. And with that being said, thanks so much once again for tuning into this channel, and we'll see you in the next video. Take care.